Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? And welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. My name is TJ Jones. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Well, Who Dat Nation, the Saints have another road task. This time, they are facing the division rivals, the Carolina Panthers, in a Week 15 matchup that has a lot of playoff implications for both teams. You have the Carolina Panthers, who are coming in riding a 5-game losing streak. As of right now, their record stands at 5-9, and the Carolina Panthers cannot afford to lose any more football games. And then you have the New Orleans Saints, who are trying to maintain that number one seed in the NFC. Of course, they want to get home field advantage in that first round bye. Both teams want to win this game in a major way. But during the week, there has been a lot of chirping between both camps, and it all started with quarterback Cam Newton. Now, Cam Newton spoke to the media, and he talked a little bit about his opinion of the New Orleans Saints this season and seasons past.
At the end of the day, the Saints of this past year and this year, like, we all know what the Saints used to be, right? So let's not forget their real history. So, I mean, they got the juice. But at the end of the day, we come in Monday with a cup for our own too. So at the end, I mean, when it happened, it's all in the game. You know what I'm saying? And when somebody does certain things, it's all a lot of fun, you know. But it's nothing else to be said.
Strong words coming from the Carolina Panthers quarterback. But of course, during the week also, Sean Payton talked to the media, and the media did ask him about Cam Newton's comments, but the head coach of the Saints decided to take the high road and praise the Carolina Panthers and their coaching staff.
You know, over the years, recently, a lot of the division titles have gone through, more recently, these two teams. So they're physical, well-coached. He's done a great job in his time there, and we got a ton of respect for him.
Once again, this is a big game for both teams. So the question on everyone's mind is, who is going to win this football game? And I had a while to think about it, and I'm thinking about who needs this game more. Who needs this game more? And if you would have asked me before Cam Newton made those comments, I probably would have told you honestly that the Carolina Panthers would have won this football game. I felt like they probably would have been more amped up due to the fact that last season the Saints beat them 3 times in a row. They beat them twice in the regular season. And of course, we know they beat them in a wild card round of the playoffs. We know about Sean Payton dancing in the locker room, which started a dance called Do to Sean Payton that was famous down in New Orleans. And we know about Cam Jordan sending Cam Newton a bottle of wine and a fan sending Cam Newton a broom, symbolizing the Saints sweeping the Carolina Panthers. So if you would have asked me before Cam Newton made these comments, I probably would have told you the Carolina Panthers would have won this game because they would have been really excited to take on the Saints. But that's until I found out these comments came to life. And when you start talking about a team and talking about their history and basically saying that they were a walking doormat and you guys just dominated them, man, those are fighting words. And not like fighting words after the club or meet me outside, but no, those fighting words on the field, which means that the Saints are going to be inspired to shut the mouth of the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. So I feel like the Saints are going to win this game. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Carolina Panthers, we know, have been struggling. They are riding a 5-game losing streak. They have lost 5 straight games. And this is crazy because the Carolina Panthers, before they went on this 5-game losing streak, they won 3 straight. They won 3 straight games. And everybody was talking about, will the Carolina Panthers be able to catch the New Orleans Saints? And then the next thing you know, they just started to lose every single week. They started to find new ways to lose. Questions were starting to be asked about Cam Newton's health. Now, if you didn't know, Cam Newton had shoulder surgery in the offseason. So a lot of people feel like Cam Newton's shoulder has been bothering him throughout the season. Especially if you watch some of the Carolina Panthers games, you can tell that he has not been accurate. And I made a joke on the last podcast that Cam Newton can't hit the back of a barn door. Now, I could make an argument and say that Cam Newton has never been accurate. He has never been an accurate quarterback. Cam Newton gets hot and he makes plays, but he has never been known for his accuracy. But the Carolina Panthers, they look horrible offensively. They struggle all season long. Now, they do have their bright spots. They have the emergence of wide receiver DJ Moore, the rookie they got out of Maryland. And we know that Christian McCaffrey has been coming on, and he's been absolutely exceptional. He's been answering questions. A lot of questions were asked him coming out of Stanford. Is he an every down back? Will he be able to run between the tackles? He is answering those questions, and he has been. A lot of people can make an argument that Christian McCaffrey is the best player on the Carolina Panthers offense, and they wouldn't be lying to you because the guy's been playing absolutely well. It's just been other parts of the offense that hasn't been good. You have Devin Funchess, who has been a mainstay in Carolina. However, he's been battling with injuries. And nobody else. We know about Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen is a great tight end. I'm going to say great. I always like Greg Olsen. I've watched Greg Olsen since he was at the University of Miami. I watched him when he was in Chicago. The guy is a great tight end. However, he has been plagued with injuries over the past few years. Last season, he was out with a foot injury. It cost him his entire season. And this season, he suffered the same fate. He's out for this season with a foot injury as well. And I think this is going to put a nice little bow on the career of Greg Olsen. But the good news is he has a great career in broadcasting that is waiting for him once he retires. But ever since Greg Olsen has went out, Cam Newton is not the same. We know how much Cam Newton relies on Greg Olsen, especially when he's under pressure. He knows that Greg Olsen is going to be exactly where he needs him to be in order for him to make a good play. And when you lose somebody like Greg Olsen, it is a big loss to the offense. The defense, I mean, they basically have been pretty good as well. I mean, we know about the usual suspects. We know about Thomas Davis and, of course, Luke Kuechly, a guy who can run sidelines to sidelines, a guy who is a tackling machine. And, of course, we know about some of the defensive players up front, the ageless wonder, Julius Peppers. My goodness, you don't even have to be a Carolina Panthers fan, but you got to respect a man who is 38 years old. 38 years old and still out there balling. This guy is absolutely incredible. And then you have the defensive tackles, Kawann Short and Dontari Poe, who came over from the Kansas City Chiefs. The secondary is a little bit better than they were last season. Of course, we know about Captain Motherland and Mike Adams and the signing of Eric Reed. But I think that the reason why they're playing so much better is because of the rookie out of LSU, Dante Jackson. And let me say this about LSU. You may not agree with me. Some people may say Ohio State. But I think that LSU have the best cornerbacks and safeties in the country. When these guys play for LSU, when they come out, they automatically become playmakers in the National Football League. You look at Tre'Davious White. You look at Jamal Adams. You look at Patrick Peterson. You look at the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. You look at Mo Claiborne. Well, let's not look at Mo Claiborne. But the fact is, they have some of the best cornerbacks that come out of their school, man. It's incredible the way that these guys come out here and they just produce in the National Football League. But Dante Jackson, he has been doing this thing for the Carolina Panthers. But I will say this. I don't think that they have enough horses in the barn. They like to run the football. And by they, I mean the Carolina Panthers. They like to run the football. The Saints are #1 against the rush. Now, I understand that the media is trying to downplay this. They're trying to feed this to the general masses and saying that the New Orleans Saints run defense is an anomaly. It's because that teams have to pass the football in order to catch up with the Saints offense. Well, for the past couple of weeks, the Saints offense has not been that good. So what's your excuse now? The Saints have the #1 defense against the rush, and it all starts up front with Sheldon Rankins and Tyler Davison. And now you have a much healthier Marcus Davenport, and we all know about Cam Jordan. That guy is just absolutely outstanding. These 4 guys up front are getting pressure and they're getting penetration to stop the run. And I think that people like Alex Anzalone as well as Demario Davis will be able to neutralize Christian McCaffrey. And I think that the Saints need to take this approach in the secondary. Now, I know that Devin Funchess supposedly is the #1 receiver for the Carolina Panthers. But if I were the Saints, I would put Marshawn Lattimore, the #1 corner for the Saints. I would put him on DJ Moore. And I will allow Eli Apple to guard Devin Funchess throughout the game. Why? It's because Eli Apple plays his best game when he is lined up in press coverage, okay? When he's lined up right in front of the receiver, he is really good at man-to-man pressing the wide receiver, okay? Now, I feel like DJ Moore is a little bit more explosive than Devin Funchess. This guy can run routes really well. He's really fast, and I feel like Marshawn Lattimore will be able to stop him and shut him down. So I think that the Saints, if they do this, if we watch the game and we watch Devin Funchess lined up against Eli Apple, I think that the Saints going to have a chance. But if they come out and Marshawn Lattimore is on Devin Funchess, I think that you are going to automatically see that the Carolina Panthers offense is going to get some success on the Saints secondary. But I think that the Saints are still going to win this game. I think that the offense is going to play much better. I think that last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was a wake-up call. I said it, and I will continue to say it. The Saints offense is not the offense of old, where you can have Drew Brees throwing the football 30 and 40 times a game. I understand that Sean Payton, in my opinion, he wants Drew Brees to be a league MVP. He wants him to be MVP before he retires. Look, I understand people are saying, man, Drew Brees don't care about that. Man, let me tell y'all something. I don't care what you do. If you're great at your job, I don't care if you're working in an office. I don't care if you're working in a retail store. You could be picking up trash on the side of the road on I-10. Well, I wouldn't recommend that because there's not any neutral grounds. But still, the fact of the matter is this. You want to be recognized. You want to be recognized for your hard work. And I feel that Drew Brees, in the back of his mind, he wants that MVP. Don't, man, I understand that Drew Brees says all the right things, and we understand that he has this whole political thing going. He's going to say all the right things, but Drew Brees is a competitor, and this man wants that league MVP. But you cannot go out there and force the issue. The Saints have to run the football. They have to use Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. I feel like you use these two guys, you run the football, you control the clock. You don't have to be throwing the ball all over the place, but you run the football, you can set up the play action, and the big plays will come. You cannot force it. For the last few weeks, the Saints have been coming out trying to throw the ball 3 straight times. First down, passing the ball. Second down, passing the ball. Third down, incomplete, punt. Like, come on, man. Do not start your first 15 plays. Don't start it off with just pass. Let's try to run the football. Let's try to control the clock. It is an away game. Look, I mean, still, we understand that the Saints offense is explosive, but you still are playing an away game. And understand that your guys that are running the football can get you where you need to be. But I think that the New Orleans Saints are going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game by a score of 23-20. I think that even though they're not going to score in the 30s, I think that their offense is going to move the ball down the field. But I think that goal line situations for the Carolina Panthers are going to show. Okay, they're going to show their good goal line defense. Now, the Carolina Panthers have a little bit of a bend but don't break type defense. Like, you can get yards up and down the field, but when it gets down to the red zone, teams struggle, man, to get the ball into the end zone. So the Saints are going to matriculate the ball downfield. I think you're going to see some good plays. but you're also going to see some field goals by Will Lutz. And I think that the Saints are going to get it done by a score of 23-20 to move to 12-2. This has been the State of the Saints podcast. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think the score is going to be. What do you think the score is going to be for the Monday Night Football game, the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers? Also, like and share this video. And if you have not already, subscribe to the State of the Saints podcast on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. And also follow the State of the Saints podcast on Twitter at SOTS Podcast 8. That's SOTS Podcast 8. Till next time, all I have to say is, who dat?